about it, man. There's so many storylines here, and for y'all to look out for. And this most important is this idea between contested drops and uncontested drops. That as well is going to be so interesting to look at. I mean, the numbers show that if you are contested, the chances of you for getting into the top 10 are significantly lower. But hey, it all comes down to just actually playing the game. And we saw a great team actually get in the last match from the Deals trio. They got in with a very good, strong performance, and the same team like the Playwell trios getting out with that great performance. But here's we all, Cammy, Seti, and Teak. They had a phenomenal performance last week in the qualifiers, winning multiple victory royales back to back. And here we are with the Cammy split. Can they change their fortunes and make it in? Let's get it started, baby.
Yeah, Cammy straight up at the Cammy split. Teak is not going to be on stream, neither is Seti, because it's so widespread and far behind. But we were talking about these scrappy fights. One of them is over at Slurpy Swamp. I think I see two different total trios. It also kind of all looks uncontested with that AI just there in the center. So Deuce, Putrick, and Snappy might have this. I'm wondering exactly where Kiriachi ended up going or what's going down in this POI, because right now there's only one trio here to claim it all.
And that was so interesting, right? We were getting ready for it, and we're like, oh, there's going to be a big time battle. And we all seen in previous FNCS trios that anytime there is a battle here in the Slurp Factory area, it just causes so much, it just ruins the whole ride. You know, all of a sudden they're fighting, they're running into zone. Here's the answer right here. Here's Kiriachi here. They're actually up a little bit, and this is where a lot of the engagements happen from all these trios rotating down from this part of the map. And this engagement here that we have to keep an eye on is Kiriachi, Jamside Fury, and looks like they have someone else here in Weeping Woods.
Yeah, they're going to be going up against what looks like Hydro, Harry, and Tempify. Now, we are surprised that these guys weren't at Slurpy. Looks like Harry might be surprised on the fact that they're rolling up to Weeping fast after just getting a few, I would say, attacks or maybe one or two weapons. This is still very early overall in the game. You can now also see the effects on the other side of the map when people who are actually not, chasing down side by side, house to house, box to box, in an off-spawn drop contestation. Teak now has that little lake house available to him as well, while Cammy farms up the antenna and everything beside it itself as well.
And I know, Levin and Reese were talking about the aggressive, Zeke was talking about how so many elims happen early here in the EU region, but we're just seeing that this qualifier too. It's a little bit more serious. I mean, the stats don't lie. In qualifier 1, the top 10 teams in the EU region were more passive during these early zones. As we finally get the first tick here on the board, here comes from passive to aggressive in the action here. It is Shaiko and Meta and Expert, who are a surprise team that very consistent in FNCS, but now they're on the back foot and they're almost, they're eliminated. They're out, lobbied by Milo and Cisse and company, and Nebs, they get the try, and the vibes continue on in the battle north of Coliseum. And that's going to be our first trio eliminated here in game 1.
Yeah, Cisse rolling in from round number 3 over at 20th place. So kind of the bottom half of the pack of trios coming into play today. And once again, a classic fight we're seeing in the desert side near Colossal Coliseum. It's also a colossal mistake, I feel like, to rotate near here or try to farm up expecting nothing to happen, because that's where most fights break down. Surprisingly as well as Stealthy Stronghold, there's always a fight every week. And now another one breaks down with Shaycos up against MX, or with MXR up against Heat Sneed. Snag, Granjo's already down. And Sasha, this fight's getting explosive.
This is a battle between France and Italy right here. The Italians from Steelix going up against Gray and company and the Frenchmen. Can they be able to hold on? This has been another contested spot that we've been talking about. Steelix have been doing really well holding on to this, but this kind of battle, these are the battles that you have to be careful on. Yes, you may win this battle, but your rotation's going to be very, very scuffed. At the same time, you're going to have to go through an ADN trio that's sitting at Pleasant. But meanwhile, let's keep it focused right here in this fight. Now it's Seikos sitting at height of the moment here, down a member of Gray. Now it's up to EXR and Seikos to hold down tight as the battle is fighting out. Looking up at the feed right now, passive goes down and the feed gets confirmed by Stormlight. So that battle is continue on, and another trio loses out. It looks like the Italians get the advantage here. Heatsy, Steelix, and I think that's Snag, right? Yeah, they're doing really well.
What a good pressure relief from them. Just last week, 32nd place overall, getting invaded post spawn.
Very surprised. Very surprised that they fell that low. Yeah.
And this time now it's just looking good. Game number 1, they actually have a completely fresh start that we haven't seen so far in the FNCS. So we'll see what they do with that first game. Arabaffo going down to Stormy right all the way up near Steamy Stacks as well. That was a huge fight I wanted to pay attention to as well. Link also going down, one of the most momentous trios. But on screen right now, it's the Playwall trio. breaking down another one over at Retail Row. Everyone looking healthy as well. Trader, Arax, and Wishy can't do much. There's always these underdog contesters who find themselves at a POY against Titans, against the 11th place trio of Playwell. And on all fronts, they just tear apart the fight. There's a reason these guys were the next up trio to qualify, didn't make it through just yet, but statistically are the strongest ones coming into today.
Yeah, and they had that great trio that with iDrop going into previous FNCS trios. They played really well at that Lazy Lake area. Now moving down to Retail Row, this FNCS, and now we're going to move into that Pleasant Park trio of ADN Hardfire. Now, we already talked about ADN getting booted from the trio from Benji. You know, Matzo and Umplify, that's been a historic one. That's, if you got to compare it down, that has been the trio for the EU region for the longest time. But now, Astro and Hardfire, the great duo, adding ADN, and now they get a nice surprise tags here, nice little ambush on Cisse, who we remember just had that battle a little bit north of the Coliseum. So they were able to make this rotation right at this moment here.
And you can see kind of the signature moves from Hardfire and Astro combined with the complementary actions of ADN. With Matzo and Umplify, it's always playing off the teammates' pressure that's being created when ADN was kind of in the fray on that trio. Now with Astro and Hardfire, these guys are one of the most passive duos that end up playing things out. They love playing low ground as well overall, just when those end games start to hit down too. So with the combined, you know, move with having ADN now as a part of the trio as well, they get a very good arsenal overall of plays they can make, you know, in this game.
I agree with you. I mean, no doubt. I mean, ADN, Umplify, Matzo kind of play that low ground mid layer style so well. So that's definitely going to complement Astro and Hardfire. So that's going to be so interesting to see going forward, Chayo.
Yeah, and right now they're just looking for surge tags overall. Close to the bridge, one place everyone likes to get metal, but also one of the most dangerous places to farm in general, because if someone else is there next to the hills, like ADN and Astro are, if they have their surge plan online, you're taking damage. And now,
oh no,
we got Slurpee clashing over with Salty Towers, meeting in the middle of Weeping Woods, and it seems like someone's going to start crying very soon. Tayson, iDrop, and Savage. Tayson already down from Shield. Looks like on the top side, Snappy has the advantageous position.
And this is the trio that's been so aggressive throughout the qualifying stage. It did not make it, of course. That's why they're playing here in Qualifier 2. But we've seen them all the way up north at Stealthy. Now they're all the way down south here. And we thought Kirachi's trio was going to be chill, not going against the Slurpee trio. But boy, oh boy, this is such a messy fight that's happening right now. And already Tayson, iDrop, and Savage getting 2 E-Limbs. Looking forward to add a couple more E-Limbs. The pressure is on. It is a trio box dive heading in head strong. And Bootrick is just trying to hold the line as much as possible, but he does have it. Zappy are now fighting hip to hip, and now it's going to be a little bit as Putra is now going up the high for a moment to gain the advantage. Now he's sending down the beams here. It could be a matter of moments. Yes, Tayson does go down. It's a 3-2 advantage. A lot of HP going through the Pudgic trio of going against iDrop and Savage. Now we've been seeing iDrop and Savage sticking their hand inside the cookie jar for so many times, and now they're getting punished by Zappy and Putrick. Let's see how now as the time is going back. So many nice work between Tayson and Savage. 2 E-Limbs, 4 points. And now Mr. Savage has to disengage. And this is going to hurt Savage and iDrop. But I'm not sure if they're looking for a placement here in this fight. I think they're just testing the waters. And boy, the water got cold there really, really fast.
Really fast. I think that weak link in the fight in general was Tayson tuning in. Already had Crack Shield. Got it all the way back up to 200. Cracked again. And it wasn't even that high of a fight that built up straight away. I think that was just the clash. The first bullfight to start off, Snappy all the way up with the wooden bills. And I think Savage had those metal ones until Snappy ended up winning. And then past that, the fact that Tayson took so much damage over and over really made that water cold for Savage's trio. They have to disengage. Hopefully got that card. Didn't get to see through all that chaos. Could have that reboot right there in short time. But I think the main reason they wanted to disengage as well is just look at all the new faces that are showing up from the left side.
Yeah,
over what looks like, you know, Greasy Grove and not Greasy Grove, Holly Hedges in total. It's just like, you know, you don't want to take fights in Weeping or anywhere where the sand is under your feet. You'll have people rotating fast, and that's where those tags start to come in.
And at the same time, this is a very hot spot rotation zone. In the last FNCS trios, so many engagements happen in this little triangle, and actually that pink triangle team is actually my pick. Did do really well today. It's Kezix, 4ZR, Nate. There's only 2 of those pink triangles, so who knows what happened to Kezix in that fight. But look at it over now. They retreat back into their home, their hovel of Salty Towers, and no Tayson in sight, no reboot card in sight. They had to abandon it in total. But Mr. Savage and iDrop and Tayson have been definitely another crowd favorite, like a Benji Fishy, like a Mongrel Mutual, that you want to see them succeed. But I think right now, this kind of dangerous kind of play style is, I don't know how it's going to work out to him. Now they have Dietrich's, and where's Dietrich's trio? Where's the rest of that company? We'll go more to that story, because we got more action from the Playwell trios now fighting close together here on this mid layer in this engagement as they're getting pressure from the top side. So we got a little mini layered fight that's happening as Eclipse is trying to get in as much as possible. And looks like the Playwell boys are expanding all their metal hard mats here. They do not want to lose this engagement, considering that they're trying to better their performance from the qualifiers, but it looks like Eclipse and Tridents, they have a 2 front pressure on the backside. You have Lucy sitting on the other side trying to create a Prince, and then at the same time you have the rest of the lobby looking in for some beams to third party. Crizzy just gets hit right in the mouth here. He's gonna have to back up to his teammate, looking for that backup as much as possible without any shield. Crizzy may go down early, and once that happens, Shio, that's gonna give them the green light to completely box dive from Eclipse and company.
Yeah, we just saw it in Weeping Woods. One person taking repeated damage in the trio should be enough for the people up top on the higher layer to have the advantage to break down in the fight. We thought it'd be Crizzy, but it's Stir6 that takes the God shot straight to the face, down to just 20 HP. We'll flip off that fight for a second. The reboot's there.
They did get the reboot card.
Yep, Tayson's coming right back. That trio's gonna be fully alive, but they're gonna have to re-farm a lot. They're gonna have to make sure that all the mats are there in total. Lots of buildings available in Salty Towers. Past that, Amplify and Benji are also kind of, you know, renting some space inside the home of Savage, Tayson, and Drop, or iDrop, and then past that on that fight with Playwell, that 2-1 split. I wonder if it's still working out. The pressure's still dropping down. Because that game 1 momentum, Sancho, that's huge to have in these fights.
And you were talking about paying rent. They're gonna have to pay in that HP, and look at this investment here. The Playwell was able to actually hit the reverse card. Now it's Trident all by themselves. It looks like Eclipse went down and the other teammate. So Trident now is on the full scramble, trying to get away, trying to push it high, expend all the kind of materials needed to just trying to hold on and survive. But Stir6 now, the storm is gonna take the toll and pay it. Down goes Stir6, and Crizzy now, without that HP lead, is gonna have to wrap up the fight. But it's not gonna take a lot, but at the same time, look how far these Playwell boys have to go. Even though they win this engagement, these are the butterfly effects that it causes, and you're already seeing out in the distance the other members actually sitting there. So this fight's going to be a very elongated here. You're going to win this moment, but you mentioned, Shio, a little bit earlier, the sand could be there for letting them get away. Crizzy right now on the back foot now with 10 HP, 9 HP, man. Still going to go push in, knowing that he has to understand he got to get the snipe as much as possible. Down goes Trident. There's still 1 member of that trio there, but what is the cost, Shio? So much invested into the storm fight, and Playwell now has to get to 2 reses. That's not going to be easy.
I mean, we practice it in pubs sometimes, chain resing to make sure none of the squad goes down all the way to the zone. So might have to be the only option here. At the same time, does Vettel even survive this overall? There are bandages. He has 13 for him, so he's fine. He can pick up the cards as well and then go for the reboot. Probably more efficient option. But look at who's surrounding that van. Once again, Tayson, Savage, and iDrop have already used it. Dookie Marvin and Vanille are here as well. It makes me wonder what ended up happening at Dirty Docks, because either it got split or Flick lost. Past that, though, every win NA and EU so far came from an uncontested team. So we've been seeing some beef across the map and some pseudo contention, right? But so far there are some trios we're looking at that should be up for contention.
At the same time, Shio, Dietrich's, where's Fesroki and Kylie? They're gone. Dietrich is by himself. So as soon as he gets found out that he's a solo, that's going to be another 2 points easily. Again, this is the FNCS Trios. This is Chapter 2, Season 5. We're in the Week 2 qualifiers. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Match 1. We got a whole row of action, 6 matches total. And not only that, the broadcast will keep kicking it with the NA East and NA West coming soon right after. But let's go ahead and jump back across the pond, because right now it's barely early in the morning here on the West Coast. Shout out to everybody watching from around the world, wherever you are. Thank you so much for being with us. Now, this is Reese's pick of Seti, Teak, and Cammy, unable to pick up any points. So that lets me know that they're looking for as many Storm Surge tags as possible, which we'll see if that's available at this moment here, Shai.
No, their job's very spread out on the right side of the map. They kind of have a tab on every single trio that's already rotated it in. Have a huge kind of control over the right side of just information. knowing where everyone's based up. Right now, though, being kind of greedy with their base overall, making it small, all out of wood as well. Very prone box dives or any type of pressure, so now have to break out a little bit. Minimal damage overall, though. They have a car as well to take and a huge other secondary base to hide behind as well. Vortex is not stopping, though. Okay, now he's stopping. Thank you very much. Please play like everyone else on the server right now. Get boxed up, stay in your little homes, and go for tags. It's simple. Follow the procedure.
Hey, remember, you know, sometimes just getting in, and that's Seti is trying to get in as much as possible. And hey, we get a first look at the new outfit that's entered the store, the World Warrior Chun-Li now getting really a kick to the face for that moment. Now it's gonna have to set down and wait for that HP bar to replenish. And let's see what's going down here. Now they're not stopping now, Shiloh. Vortex is here with his trio.
Yeah, and there's no space for Teeth to kind of run away too, because Hardfind is right there on a base on the river. So this fight, this wall-to-wall shotgun shot, I don't even know what to call it, little skirmish has to go through. Here's the first edit going closer to Vortex. They're still staying. Just about 1.5 boxes away. Vortex is right on the wall, but not going to find any connections with any shots just yet. Seti kind of expands the base, realizes after looking through these edits how many teams are actually going to be ending up looking at these guys. They have to move in the zone. Every team around them, there's also based up right beside, looking for any opportunity, any hint of damage they can take. So if these builds start to break down, if there is a big box fight that breaks through and you hear shots rattling, that is not good for either team, Amy or Nightsec at all. So they're going to play a little bit further behind. Vortex actually fully disengaging as well. On the other side of the map, we have Sniper, or Bad Sniper, Laxus, and Tripper. Complete control of the bridge, and they're making every single team below them pay tolls.
And absolutely, you're knowing that Bad Sniper would like to have in that trio a better performance that they had last week, where they were just getting destroyed out there in the Salty Towers by iDrop. In that trio, we know how dangerous Savage, Taste, and iDrop can be on their drops. So now, no doubt, once Bad Sniper actually left that drop, they're doing better. But the story continues here for the Italians. Heatsy, Steelix, and Snag got a great engagement out there in Stealthy Stronghold, so no doubt they're going to be pretty decent with Storm Surge, but at the same time, they still have to keep looking for it. We'll get more into the Storm Surge explanation, but right now we're in that 4th zone, and actually, let's go and talk about it right now, Shio. Storm Surge is here.
Yeah, it's here right now. It's a big deal for a lot of teams, but I think the cooler thing to note right before it is that Steelix, Snag, and Heatsy are almost about to beat their record last week of how many points they got in round 4. It was 14 points in total over the 6 games these guys accrued. Now they're up at 6, have the first chance to really have a game under their feet. Coming out of Stealthy, even contested, a very nice defensive showcase there. But look at all the teams they're up against, Sancho. AD and Astro Hardfind waiting right below them. Nightsec is right there too. You've seen how good they've been, but a snipe goes straight through. Onto Orgurchik. Unfortunate for these guys, but they have a big base and a lot of distance to be able to get that revive.
Yeah, look at all the madness and all the shots, and this is what happens when Storm Surge. Everyone now starts editing, taking shots, opening up their little windows, trying to get their cone shots, and sometimes you pay the price. You get a little greedy, and ADN was able to connect, and this is a trio that's now under that pressure of the Storm Surge, only 1 above.
And Storm Surge is basically about dealing more damage than most other teams available at the moment. There's a little bit of a threshold. Is going to click in after this zone. It's 50 players. They're going to need to be alive at maximum. So with 62, 12 need to go down. Need to have more damage dealt than those extra people that are alive right now. 46 above that threshold. Is that trio? That includes Robaz, but the Surge is ticking already. I think Falconly is the one taking damage, or is it Vanille? We'll have to see in just a second. 46 above, so it is Vanille right above them. And they could pressure this and go for some free elims.
And that's what's going to be scary when the Storm Surge starts coming in. As you hear the sound effect and you get a visual cue as well. And you're going to have to dip inside your heels as much as possible. 268 below. That is a lot. And you're going to have to open up your edits. You're going to have to be greedy with your picks. And hey, Naji's just able to get a couple more to breathe up, but it's still not enough. Marvin has to pick it up as well, because Storm Surge is going to keep on ticking. 6 players have to go down. And it looks like Naji and Marvin may be part of that. Now 4 people have to go down. So it's very close. It's very scary. And this is not where you want to be. I've been hit by Storm Surge before in a competition, and man, oh man, it just causes you to move and be aggressive. And that's what you're seeing from the rest of the lobby as we're getting a nice overview as we're getting closer and closer to the fully rotating zones. But let's keep on the story right now as the half in and half out is revealed, and this team is in it, Shio, but at the same time, they're safe. They survived the Storm Surge.
I don't think they're safe. They've definitely
Well, they're not
survived
safe,
though, but they need to land like
They're
at least
alive.
10 to 12 more shots. They are alive, yeah. But like,
Yes.
think about it, right? Landing 10 shots in this instance with an AR is so difficult. At max off an edit, Vanille's probably going to be able to get maybe 2 shots into Floki coming right below him, or maybe you're seeing far away. I think they might even need to just drop down, go for a big shotgun shot. They have the harpoon as a possibility for that play. The reason they got to live this last little surge section was because they had some shields. Now, without that option to heal off the surge, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. They're going to be facing a lot of people who have position, who have big bases, and they have their damage. So it's going to be trouble for Vanille.
Looks like the zone is now pushing towards the east. There is some sand. A new mechanic that has been introduced this season, if you haven't been watching, is sand tunneling. So if you could go ahead and sit in the sand for a brief moment, it does take a little bit. You could turn yourself into like a little sand bunny and burrow your way through and get into safe zone. But looks like Nate and 4ZR are not going to opt for that.
Yeah, very difficult option because as soon as you do get shot up, it's very hard to box up immediately. You take a lot of damage.
And here we go. Look at everybody moving across here as Nate, 4ZR are actually getting invaded. An injection is happening here on this tarp. It is Dexy and Co. Bobby and Helix are pushing it. Another one is Siberia and Reason are now in this layer. They're all like-minded people moving together, and Nate and 4ZR are trying to survive as much as possible, Shio.
Absolutely. We go from Fortnite to 3D games into a platformer as everyone moves from right to left. Obstacles all the way in between. Goomba Stomps, though, from Nate and 4ZR are the option to because all those low health people are right below them. They just need a few floor edits to get a bunch of refreshes, but they have to be on the same page.
Yeah, and Nate and 4CR are in trouble. That injection into that tarp caused them to go into their hard mats, and now they're only down to their soft mats, which is going to give a big target. But hey, speaking of big targets, iDrop, now the solo player, Tayson, Mr. Savage are out, and they're at 82 below. So iDrop now is going to be aggressive, and not only that, his builds are on fire, and he's going to have to move as much as possible, Shio.
While he's going for the clutch, Toos has a bunch of elims in the feed. Frey's also popping off. Nate goes, takes down Cisse. He goes straight away down. Drop now, though. No builds down in the water. Looking for some picks. It's not possible. Floki laps that one up. So Nakos has complete control, basically, of that backside low ground. Up on height, though, it's Toos, it's Snappy, and Putrick, uncontested from Slurpee, and now all the way on the King's kind of lair. On the entire game, 7th zone, and this is where usually that last retake comes through. So if they hold down here, nice healing by Snappy. This should be a win for this God trio.
That was a huge harpoon play from Zappy, able to get some valuable metal. They're 106 total, and that's what you're talking about. You're going to need that as the rest of the zone is now going to have to navigate over this river, so more builds will be expended to survive. The high ground is going to have to cash in as much as possible, get as many E-limbs, and Shio, you called it, coming all the way from Slurp Factory, able to get a free uncontested drops, able to avoid the madness down Weeping Woods, now sitting pretty at height. But we still have a lot of warriors down below fighting on a great layer as Setting Cammy, all of a sudden they had 0 E-limbs into these zones, and they were able to ramp it up, and now they have a total of 8 E-limbs, looking very strong, looking very beautiful here on the mid ground, looking for Falconry, who's always almost got caught. So hey, if you're sitting on this layer right now, you must go below, but that just means soon enough Teak and Seti and Cammy will capitalize with their power, and look at it in their aggression, fighting hip to hip, Shio.
Yep, Gladiators up on height, challengers all the way in the mid-ground layers, and now they start to connect shots. Bunch of full trios still alive, so every single edit and every single bullet will be followed by 2 more. It'll be big damage just drop down on every single layer we're seeing so far.
It looks like Snagged and Snagged and the Italians are up right now and sitting in front of the zone.
Nice, nice, nice. So that last place trio from last week, completely redeeming their kind of full storyline, getting a lot of points so far. Snag trying to stay alive, but it's not possible. Seti also down. Cammy, these guys have so many elims, 8 to boot so far, and he can still end up clutching up. Snappy, though, uninterrupted so far, and is all the way back up on height. Medkit in tow as well. Possibility for that heal off. Toos picking up Seti up in the field, up in the zone. 3 different trios left, 7 people in total. And my man Snappy's celebrating. He knows he has the insurance. The question is, will he have the possible time and the right position to pop it off? Nakos is still down below, gets a pick off on the Cammy, and now 2 trios left, a 3v3 on our screens.
3v3, Patrick and Toos now, and you got the ultimate high, Zappy, the insurance. You got Patrick and 2 sitting down to try to kind of just slow down Floki, Clement, and Co. But hey, it doesn't matter. Down goes Clement, and the battle happens right now. If anyone looks up, Zappy, who's already vibing up there, already dancing, already doing all the TikTok dances up there. And yes, Zappy, watch him do his dance and collect the victory royale. But holy